So depending on what you watched as a kid, this is either the greatest thing you've ever seen or the scariest, like most horrible, like call the police thing you've ever seen. But I tend to think it's on the better side. We're here with our good friend Rob Klein at Heritage Auctions in Beverly Hills, talking all about the Stewart Berkowitz collection of television treasures going up for auction October 24th, ha.com, live auction followed by an internet session. This is Bozo the Clown. Bozo the Clown was originally created in the 40s. In the 50s, an actor named Larry Harmon, I guess, played it, then licensed the character, kind of took it over, played it, and then trained people to play it and kind of put it out all over the globe. So I guess there were foreign versions of Bozo the Clown with different names and whatnot that Larry Harmon sort of trained and whatnot. For me, it was a beloved children's show on channel either 9 or 11 in the mornings,
syndicated.
whatever. Syndicated, yes, early syndication with kids on set. And what was the toy closet thing?
I don't remember, but if you did something good on the show or won, you get to go to the toy closet.
Yeah, it's a full costume with the headpiece. Obviously, you would have makeup on your face, and then you would kind of wear this Bozo the Clown. Just kind of wonderful, like a real piece of television history. And there's so many, we've been showing you different things like, oh, here's all these Star Trek costumes, whatever. But Stewart had all these just wonderful, like, just moments from television. We thought we'd share some of them with you. So come check out some of the other just interesting other pieces in his collection. Sally Field, the Flying Nun. Boy, she's tiny. Pretty amazing piece with the habit in really kind of the sort of signature kind of look. Is really nice for an old piece.
Were these the wings that enabled her to
I
fly?
believe, I don't know what made her fly. I haven't watched in a million years. But somehow I feel like the habit sort of helped somehow. But
Right. Well, this is another Columbia wardrobe piece, and Columbia Pictures wardrobe's very rare, and it's just great to see it with the main part of the costume. I don't know exactly technically what you'd call this, but it's got the wings of the Flying Nun. And one of the fun things I always heard about was the people that lived around the Columbia Ranch would always be able to tell they were filming the Flying Nun because they'd see the big crane and Sally Field strapped to it.
She would just be like flying over, like look over the fence.
Practical effects.
There you go.
Sally Fields.
That's pretty cool. And speaking of cool,
I think right off the bat, we need to make this extra cool. So I have the white gloves. Let's just get the collar in the correct position.
Much better.
Okay.
Much better.
Hey.
There we go. I will say 100%. This is the hero, I guess is, for lack of a better word, this is a Fonzie jacket from Happy Days. Everything else, the mannequin, the pants, the boots, the sunglasses is all just for display purposes. So pay no attention to possibly the weirdest mannequin I've ever seen. This is right up there with the weird Christopher Reeve. It's kind of a little scary. Let's pay only attention to the jacket. This just gorgeous, I believe later season Fonzie jacket. One of the interesting things about the Fonzie jacket is in the very early first episodes, he's actually wearing more of like a James Dean windbreaker.
Kind of a powder blue
Yes,
thing.
exactly, because they were scared that the audience would be freaked out by this leathered up tough. So then they reached this interesting compromise that he could wear the leather jacket if he's riding the motorcycle, that it was for protection.
Wow.
So then if you start watching the early Happy Days, Fonzie's always on the bike. He's always, the scenes are always him leaning up against the bike, like sort of straddling the bike. The bike is in Arnold's. It's like they just started putting the bike wherever they could to keep him in the leather jacket. Obviously, then the leather jacket becomes a phenomenon, and then at that point, they don't have to do that. And this is another piece, and Rob, you were talking about this before we were shooting. There's one of these in the Smithsonian, so you would be getting a piece that also is already represented in the Smithsonian.
Excellent bragging rights.
Yeah, I think pretty cool bragging rights. But wait, there's more. Co-created by Buck Henry and Mel Brooks. Get Smart, one of the funniest shows of the 60s that I actually think still holds up today, starring Don Adams and Barbara Feldon. A sort of parody take on spy James Bond stuff at the time, complete with gadgets. The most famous gadget probably being the shoe phone. This is one of the hero shoe phones from the 60s. You can see it comes with the other shoe, which is not a phone. They made it out of just a regular pair of loafers. Missing is the heel piece that would sort of slide to the side and then kind of recover. It's got a lot of age, a lot of wear, but just really just gorgeous. And there, right in there, you can see is the phone. That's where you dial the shoe phone. And obviously that shot of him talking into the phone graced TV guide covers, magazine covers, promo shots, whatever. This is very fun, just again in the gadget world, sort of a stereophonic gun. I really get a kick out of that, used by, I think, someone on Max's team and whatnot. And then one other piece, really cool, if you can kind of come in here. This is a cousin to the shoe phone. This is the log phone. So it's from a fireplace. Like they just kind of pulled out a log and dialed. So a variation. And the shoe phone and variations of that joke play throughout all the episodes. It kind of became just this great running gag. Just really incredible piece of television history, but also comedy history that I am really blown away by. Really fantastic.
We could say that this is one of the most iconic TV movie props out
there. I mean, again, I don't know what people remember anymore, but to me, this is the Star Trek communicator of its day.
Yes,
there you
well
go.
Said.
Yeah, how's that for a tie-in? And we've got one other thing we want to show you. And we're going to end with Elizabeth Montgomery, Bewitched, a sister show to I Dream of Jeannie. Also the old 1950s movie I Married a Witch.
Veronica Lake.
Yep. So Elizabeth Montgomery was Samantha Stevens, her mom, and Dora the witch, who of course hated her husband, who was a regular human. What jumps out at me, this is, again, this was a 60s sitcom, very sitcom-y with great, cameos by Paul Lynde and whatever, but gorgeous, gorgeous costumes. As we like to say, I mean, look at the stitching.
Yeah, wonderful.
But also, look at the stitching.
Yes. And Agnes Moorehead loved purple, so you could see that she's using purple.
Oh, so that was her request?
Yeah,
oh, nice.
Full force purple. So, yeah. Agnes Moorehead also, one of the Mercury players was in Citizen Kane.
Yes,
one
of Orson Welles' sort of go-to people back in the day.
Yes.
And again, just really just pretty, this sort of nightgown ensemble and this dress. And it's funny, you go back and watch these shows and just how many costume changes they did have. And obviously the costumes were a big part of it, which is just kind of interesting.
And most are missing, but Stewart has an amazing collection.
Stewart has these too, which is pretty incredible. That has taken us through what feels like 30 years of television. There are shows Stewart collected everything from. There are shows where he has one or two pieces, but everything in his collection, just pretty incredible, and all going up for sale October 24th.